This is a digital video by LCE Graphics. You can reach us at www.lcegraphics.com or by phone at 352-799-8393. I'm doing a comparison video between the 5000 Duplo collator to the 5000 Pro. The 5000 collator was introduced in 2004, 2005, all the way to 2010 when the Duplo 5000 Pro was introduced. And there are some differences between the two, and we're going to highlight those right now. Now what you're looking at right here is the adjustment for the air blast. The top knob adjusts the air blast, and the bottom one adjusts the height of the separators, which are just underneath the manifold. And what the separators do, they knock back the sheet. Like if your manifold's trying to feed a second sheet, those little fingers underneath the manifold will knock that sheet back, thereby reducing or eliminating doubles. As you can see from the manifold, you have the gray belts with small teeth on them. They're rubber belts, like a surgical rubber, but they're gray. The manifold on this unit and the Pro is the same, except for right in the middle of the manifold, right there in the center of your screen, there'll be a rod sticking out there. And when you pull that rod out, you can adjust the air baffle inside the manifold. Right now, the way the manifold is set up, there's no problem unless you're running a sheet that is narrower than the manifold. Then you run into a problem because it can't suck vacuum outside the sheet, thereby creating some issues with feeding, when you're feeding, like say for example a 10-point cover that's 6 inches wide by 18 inches long, which is kind of an unusual thing, but if you're doing something like that, you need that extra vacuum to hold that sheet. Now what we've done is we've created a baffle that you slide in underneath the belts that eliminates that problem. When you're running a narrow sheet, you slide our baffle in there, and that takes care of it. But it's not really an issue except when feeding a heavy cover, and if your cover is kind of long. Like if it's a CD booklet, it's not too much of a problem. It's only a problem when you're running, like for example, a 7-inch wide sheet by 18 inches long, and you're producing a very long, narrow booklet. And that's when you have some of the issues. So that's one of the advantages. The other advantage is on the top there, you'll see a little square black box. Now what that does is that houses the sensors for the 500. Right above that sensor, you'll see an elongated hole, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long by about 1/2 inch wide. And what that hole is for is in that little black box are receivers and emitters. And basically what they do is they'll send a signal through that hole to the unit above it, and that's what tells the collator if there's paper in the bin or not. So as soon as the paper runs out, that beam connects with the receiver on the other bin and tells the collator that bin 2, 3, or 4 is out of paper. Well, these units are a little bit of a pain to clean because you have to take out the little screws that you see there and remove the cover to clean them. Not something you have to do every day, but it is something that, maybe once or twice a year, depending on how dusty your environment is, that you have to do. On the Pro, they've eliminated that situation by putting the sensor outside the manifold, and that's another improvement. Outside of that, there haven't been too many other real changes, except for the adjustment on the side here. As you can see, with the standard 5000, you have the 2 control knobs. Now, we're going to take a trip over to our 5000 Pro and show you some of the differences. This is the 5000 Pro. The first thing you notice is that the bins are light gray, and that's really kind of a nice idea. We've been considering painting all of our systems light gray on the bins because what that does, it makes the paper and the everything more visible because it's so black in here. You've got a black back wall, and it's just dark. Actually, they would be better served to just put fluorescent lighting down down the conveyor of the back tower and light it up a little bit. But anyway, that's one of the improvements. The other improvement is that the bins are longer, and on some of the newest 5000 Pros, you have that tray you see there, that chrome tray. It pulls out and allows you to run a longer sheet. Like instead of 20 inches, 23 I think it is, or 24 inches long. And that's with the 5000 Pro. It gives you a little bit longer sheet size for like huge menus. Now you'll see one of the differences is right there in the middle of your screen. I hope this is visible. I'm going to try to home in on it a little bit. But it's right in the middle of your screen is a small little black sensor that sticks out right in the center of the manifold. Now the advantage of that is it's right out in the open, so it's very easy to clean. You just get a Q-tip with some water, moisten Q-tip, and just get in there and clean the sensor. And that sensor sends a signal through those two holes you see in the bin there and through to the bottom. But you know, that's one of the improvements that they made. The other one is this rod right here. Now I'm going to try to set the light in here so you can see how this rod works. This is an adjustment rod. When you pull that rod out, all the way out like that, what that does, it turns on all of the segments of your manifold, so now it sucks air on the entire manifold all the way through. But if you want to cut off the air to some of it, you can push this in a little bit, and what that does, it cuts off the air so that now it's only sucking air on the one side half on the operator side and cuts off the air on the back side, which improves the strength of the vacuum when feeding narrow sheets. Also here you have an adjustment for your air. You can just adjust the orifice, the force of the air going out. Right here, that's more and less, as you can see, a bigger arrow and thinner arrow. The other two adjustments are identical. All of the other sensors and so forth are the same. The belts are the same. The feed manifold is the same, except for, like I said, that feature of the baffle. You can probably see it a little bit better up here. It's a little dark inside these bins, but anyway, I can shine the light on there. You can see the baffle. I mean, a little bit better, the baffle adjustment. Outside of that, it's very, very few changes. But I have to say that Duplo doesn't just make changes for the sake of changing. They really do try to improve the overall performance of the machine. And these little things that they do, sometimes are of no consequence, other times they are. One of the things that they did on the 5000, actually the 5000 and the 5000 Pro, is they put an emergency stop button. And that's a good feature because it shuts the whole system down immediately. In the event of a jam or if there's a problem, you hit that stop button and everything goes down. The booklet maker, trimmer, everything shuts down. Wherever it's at, it stops immediately. And that came out with the 5000. And of course the 5000 Pro continued. So that's basically a brief rundown. There are some programming changes that they did on the 5000 Pro. You have a few extra programming features in adjusting the air and blow. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same. All the clutches, most of the belts, the drive, the motor, all those things are the same. And that's basically the rundown between the two. So you have to decide for yourself, you know, how valuable you feel these features are in your decision making, whether you want to buy a Pro or a standard 5000. If you have any further questions, please feel free to give us a call. Thank you.